Hello, peace, light, and love. Today I'm reading the Yom Kippur Day of Atonement Eve. It starts today. It's already very quiet here. It's empty. Not because this is such a religious place. A lot of people chose to go abroad. It's holiday time. Anyway, so I want to focus on one topic. They're talking about the Yom Kippur War, what they could have done to prevent it. And apparently the Prime Minister doesn't give interviews for 2 years already, this newspaper, so they make a fake interview. But I want to focus on one topic which has to do with the Watts case. They're trying to change the law concerning women that had undergone violence and murdered their spouses. So I don't know if Shannon Watts underwent violence. If lying and cheating is not a form of violence, which I think it is. Deception deception surely must be, and endangering the life and health of a wife by engaging in all sorts of relationships, unprotected sex with a woman that is pregnant, also the wife of the mother of your children, endangering her, like because you are experimenting sexually with all sorts of people, and I'm talking about all sorts of people online, is also a form of violence, in my opinion. But this woman has undergone rape and abuse in the family. Then she married a man chosen for her, and when she put sleeping pills and tried to kill him after being abused constantly, she was sentenced to 15 years in prison. So there are statistics here. There are currently in Israel a few cases, 5 cases of women, both Arab and Jewish, who murdered their spouses. And you have here statistics. So how, the sentence is quite high, up to 10 years, more than 10 years. I'm trying to read the graph, it's a bit difficult to read. Let me see. This is the sentence that they receive. All these women complained about violence. They filed charges. They were in a hospital. And they have different stories. One woman, she murdered her husband after 7 years. She came from a home where she was abused, an alcoholic father, and then she was 7 years with this man getting abused. She was in a psychiatric hospital. That's where she met her husband. Oh my gosh. And then the stories are very similar. The system cannot see that they're not listening to what it's like to be with an abusive husband when you have children. She says the officers brought her home. I just don't know what they expect of women. It says here from the research of this woman, social worker has researched, and she says 20 women are involved in violence against their husbands after they've encountered violence against them for a prolonged period of time. They want to change the law now. One woman killed her husband after 24 years of abuse. And the woman is considered responsible. So how are we going to break this cycle of victims? it's just, the stories are horrific. And I think there's a big stigma, and you can see by the Watts, you know, she puts all these videos with a happy family, but not getting into all the stories that they all seem the same. She's trying to escape. She goes to the police, she seeks help, and nothing changes. It's not considered a crime. And a lot of women, what they do is they escape. So what Shannon Watts did is she escaped to this, what is it, the fantasy land of everything is great, let's just go on vacations, let's just ignore. And I think it is a type of violence when you are leading a double life and you're endangering your wife with all sorts of sexually transmitted diseases, and also just mocking her existence. I mean, she surely must have suspected something's going on. So if things had been continued and she would have somehow attacked him, she would have been in jail, without a doubt. And now what he did is, I don't know if he was violent before, but in any case, women are locked. Once you're married, you are considered property of a man. You cannot, the violence against you is not violence of a stranger. If a stranger in the street treats you this way, you have power. But if a husband treats you badly, you have no power. There's no protection. And some women, they come from very difficult backgrounds and they just don't have any other way. They're like an animal being threatened and you just strike back. And you can imagine the effects of prolonged violence on anyone is post-traumatic stress. So I'm surprised with all the knowledge and the psychologists. Where are the psychologists? Where are all these mental health experts? And as for the Watts case, I mean, I think I would like to see him tried, not only for the murder of the wife and his wonderful children, but for falsely accusing someone, because what he did is just so typical of this cowardly men. They're not men. Shouldn't be considered human beings. Anyone who abuses someone just because they're physically weaker than you, it's not a human being. It's somebody who should not be in society. Society should be protected from these kind of men. Can you imagine if Chrustopher Watts gets out of jail? He'll charm his way to another woman's life. I cannot imagine it's not going to repeat itself. And even if it doesn't, I mean, what message is it sent to these men that are violent to women, that you can just get away with everything? Prison is a holiday compared to what he put them through. And I think it's time that we sent a clear message, but realistically, I know it's not going to happen. I want to say there's a prayer that says, Avinu Malkeinu, God is our King. And I think the problem is that a lot of women make men their kings.
Hi.
And well, I'm not sure there is a source of justice in this universe, because there's so many arguments against that. I would like to think that the big mistake many people make is to put on a pedestal someone, and usually these people are actors. They are just a mask. They're just a shell, and inside there is absolutely nothing. And this is the problem. And when you desperately want someone to be the king, to be this amazing father, then you should she should have turned to a heavenly father. That would have been a better choice. A lot of people do. And in times of trouble, I have to say, I keep that option open. So peace, light, and love, and turn to the Heavenly Father, not to anyone else. Don't trust human beings. They're weak, and too often they just cannot provide what we need.